Dude, hey, so check this out. I got an idea for our video this week. What are you... What are you supposed to be, Darth Fat Ass? You mother... Stop, I'm sorry. That's what I thought. Can we just go film the episode now? Jeez. What's going on, everybody? I'm Abe.
And I'm Mr. Glenn.
And you're watching The Nerd Talk Show. All right, guys. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about quite a few different little subjects, but today's main segment will be Star Wars. But first up, we're going to be talking about some epic news of recent pop culture stuff, so including some movies and other stuff that's been announced, or just some interesting things we wanted to bring up. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about the Lantern series. It just officially started, and, well, it's off to a hell of a start.
Yeah, I haven't watched the first episode yet, but...
Yep. I have. We'll get into
what
that.
was the number of views you said that it got?
An incredible 9.3 million viewers in the first 3 days.
That's insane.
Yeah, that is fantastic numbers. It actually, shockingly, believe it or not, has put it above any other Marvel show ever on Disney Plus, except for Loki Season 2.
Yeah.
So... yeah, that's pretty damn good numbers. That's a great first outing. But even better is the fact that the first outing has been rated incredibly high. It is currently sitting at a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that is crazy to me.
Yeah,
Like,
and even an 8 out of 10 on IMDb, which is very high.
really?
Yes. So,
wow.
yeah. So, it is... if again, for everyone who has watched, without spoilers, that has watched the first episode and knows that the cliffhanger ending, we won't get into it, but wow. Yeah, it's off to a hell of a strong start. I mean, that first episode was fantastic. What an incredible blend of, like they have been advertising this entire time, a True Detective style series mixed with the classic DC Green Lantern lore. It has been fantastic so far, and just an absolute joy to watch. So yeah.
I can't wait to start watching it. I need to, but there are a few other things that I need to catch up on first, especially on the Marvel front.
Of course, yeah. So very, very specifically, the stuff, well, you guys know from our last episode, he's going to catch up on the WandaVision saga, so the WandaVision and Agatha all along. And after that, he's finally caught up on pretty much absolutely everything on Marvel, which is great, because we've been kind of catching him up leading up to Doomsday, and we're really excited to do that next episode, by the way. Like, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
The next part 2 of Avengers Doomsday, we're going to have... there's a lot of stuff. I've been actually saving it and writing it down, like special theories that I've been cooking up and some other theories that I've been hearing. So we're going to be talking a ton of theory crafting and just sort of breaking down some of the awesome stuff we've seen. By the way, thank you for the absolutely incredible 3,000 views on our most recent trailer reaction for Doomsday, because that was absolutely nuts. Thank you, guys.
I still can't believe that we hit that high. I think that's, what, our highest?
Absolutely. It is our absolute highest, and that's absolutely incredible. You guys have been showing us so much support after we restarted the Nerd Talk show, and I also wanted to quickly talk about the show just for a moment before we get into some of the awesome other stuff we wanted to bring up in the news segment here. I wanted to let you guys know that we are going to be doing a bunch more skits like the one you saw in the intro of today's video. We thought it was a part of our humor and our sort of unique charm that we always kind of do these fun little tiny skits that are a part of our intros and outros and stuff. And we also wanted to start a new series on the channel called the Cosma Dark Theater. Yeah, that's right. We're going to be doing actual full-on comedy skits, having fun. We're going to be doing some fun stuff like that, just short little skit videos that'll pop up on the channel from time to time, as well as we're going to be including some new potential guests and potentially some more other hopeful team members added to the team here in the near future for the Nerd Talk show here on Cosmo Nerd TV.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yes, I am too. There's a lot of fun stuff that we can do, and we're excited. We're gonna cook. I also wanted to quickly apologize for the schedule shakeup. There's been just a lot going on in personal life stuff recently, so I'm trying to make videos the best as I can. But I haven't. I wanted to get on a very specific schedule, but I haven't been able to get to that just yet. But don't worry, we're still making these episodes like you're watching right now, and we're going to continue to make them every single week. Do not worry. Plus, more stuff coming as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for that. So let's get into the next part. Pretty cool. Something DC just announced.
Yeah. It was posts taken from the perspective of the Daily Planet.
Yes.
The People versus Gorilla Grodd.
Yes, this is the rumored Jimmy Olsen series that is a spinoff in the actual DCU that we've been kind of hearing about for quite a while. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. I would say that this isn't like something I'm like, whoa, like wow, super, but it is really cool because it is again more exploration of characters we really liked from Superman and a villain that I absolutely love that I'm excited is in the DCU and just kind of see how they handle that character. That'd be pretty fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, Gorilla Grodd. We've all seen the CW's Flash,
Yes.
and I know that Grodd was, at least for me and the other people I've talked to, Grodd was a pretty popular villain
Yes.
that kept reoccurring.
Yeah.
So I think that that might be a very good choice for them to do for the show.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited to see more of that. And do you just kind of just see what else the DCU has up its sleeves? I actually genuinely, I know people are still biting back on it. We've had one technical failure so far. Everything else has been literally a huge success. And yet that one small failure, people are acting like the DCU is falling apart. It's not, and then Lanterns immediately shut a lot of that up. I know it did, because it's been pretty quiet afterwards this week.
Yeah, no one has said
but-
anything.
But bleeding right up to that, everybody was like, oh no, the DCU is terrible. No, it's not. It's actually doing quite well, and I am very, very excited as a true hardcore DC fan. I am genuinely in love and is so excited with this new direction for the DCU. However, I will say my one thing that I will share with everybody is I do want to see more of the main characters. I do want to see Wonder Woman. I do want to hear some more from Batman. I don't really know why we haven't done anything with Batman.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what you're waiting for. I feel like there's plenty of great filmmakers and writers and everything out there that would absolutely murder to be a part of a Batman project, and I'm sure pretty much everyone in Hollywood has tried to audition for Batman at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway.
And then what? We still need to see who our Martian Manhunter is going to be.
Yes.
And Flash.
Yep.
And maybe Cyborg. Do you think that we're going to get Cyborg in it, or do you think he's going to be added later?
I think he's going to be a part of the Titans thing, if that Titans thing is still a thing. I would actually Titans. Let's do Titans. Let's do an actual Titans movie, and then have him be a part of the Titans because that's where I would put him. Not that I don't like him in the Justice League, I do, but I just think that he belongs with the Titans. Like that's like the home base for that character, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So, but I think like the main characters, again, Flash, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, Batman. Like those are the main ones that we like that are really important. And then I would say a little bit further out from that, then you get into like Aquaman and a couple like those kind of characters.
Yeah,
But yeah,
well, we just look at the core members of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, the animated shows
yes,
from the early 2000s.
yes, yep. Which, by the way, I absolutely another thing that I'm loving about Lanterns is seeing Jon Stewart finally in live action and seeing how they're doing that character, and I'm absolutely loving it so far.
Yeah, and funny enough, with the release of it, they also put Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern on HBO.
Well, no, I think it was already on HBO. I think
Oh.
it just like surged like in how many people were watching it, which is
Oh.
which is pretty fucking funny. I think people are like getting that hankering for Green Lantern now, and so they're like, all right, well, whatever, we'll watch it. We don't care if it's bad or not, which is fun. The last little bit of our news segment here that we want to talk about is the fact that Spider-Man Brand New Day has just officially hit 2.3 billion in only 3 weeks at the global box office.
That's insane.
That officially puts it within, I think, the top 5 highest grossing films of all time, and potentially is about to dethrone. Yeah, in fact, it is actually the top 4. Yeah, it's the top 4. It is going to 100% dethrone Avatar: The Way of Water, and then the only thing standing above it are Avengers Endgame at 2.8 billion and Avatar at 2.9. So, and we're only 3 weeks in. We could still potentially make enough to put this 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 2.7's high, but we're only 3 weeks into a 35 or I don't know how long, like 40ish day, 30 to 40 day theater run. Oh, holy shit!
It could. I don't know if it will, but it could dethrone Endgame.
And all the projections currently are having Avengers Doomsday slightly outpacing Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's already a historical, like I think it was like $20 million in pre-sale tickets 4+ months out from when that movie comes out, which is ridiculous. Absolutely insane. So the fact that we're that deep into it is just nuts. So, yeah, so potentially Spider-Man Brand New Day could rival Avengers Endgame. That's absolutely crazy and awesome.
That is a very crazy thought.
Yeah. Okay, and on to our next segment, the state of Star Wars. All right, guys. So I think a lot of you know where we're kind of currently sitting with Star Wars. It has been a weird period. It has been a very strange sort of period of, I would just say, limbo. We're kind of in a weird limbo spot because of like just all the stuff that's come out and how people feel about certain things. And so let's start getting into it. Let's talk about the Disney Plus stuff first.
All right. Let's start with. Do you want to start with the good or the bad?
Let's start with the good stuff. I want to talk about the bad.
All right, the good stuff. The Mandalorian.
Yes. So okay, absolutely. That has been one of the shows that has been incredible from Jump Street. Like, I absolutely adored just the whole vibe of it. It brought back that sort of western-y feel in the first season to the Star Wars, how Star Wars got a very grandiose and very crazy with the sequel trilogy and, like, just off the walls. But it very much kind of came back to that sort of old school kind of western in space kind of vibe, and that was a huge plus. So.
Yeah. I also liked it because I mean, at least from what I remember. Now I haven't seen all of Clone Wars, or Rebels, but so from my perspective, never really knew much about the Mandalorians themselves.
Yeah.
But so it was really great to see that, and it was handled really well. Because after that, I started getting into looking up a bunch of the lore and stuff, and it just felt right.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
so cool.
Yeah, and then I mean, just the actor. He
Yeah. Oh,
played
Pedro.
it so well.
Pedro. Good shit.
Yes.
Of course. I mean, ever since then, he's been in fucking everything.
Yep. And I know people have kind of complained about that. I think most of it's kind of jokingly complaining, but
yeah, because at the end of the day, he is a great actor. So like some of the roles he's landed, it's been for a good reason. Most of the time, it's been for a great reason because he is a great actor. But yeah, Mandalorian was absolutely incredible. And of course, we also have some other stuff that sort of we'll kind of jump. Not necessarily to keep on to jump into some of the bad aspects of it, or what most people would consider some of the bad stuff. One of the bad shows, I should say, is Book of Boba Fett. We got to talk about it because the whole Boba Fett everything is dramatically tied to the Mandalorian. So again, we not only have the the big joking Mandalorian season 2.5 aspect of the later half of that season, but we also again the whole arc of the Book of Boba Fett started in Mandalorian. So, of course, within season 1 and 2, technically. So.
Yep. I watched it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
That's what I'm saying too. Everyone's really hard on that show, and maybe some of the first episodes were a little slow or pretty slow, and maybe it's not it's not as good as The Mandalorian. I'll say. It's not as good as a lot of the episodes they did in that show. However, it is not anywhere near as bad as everyone acted like it was. I'm not saying it's an incredible show, but I think people really dogged on that show really hard. And I think a lot of it had to do with some certain expectations of the fact that they really wanted maybe even a slightly even more mature Boba Fett story. So a lot of people wanted an R-rated Boba Fett movie, which I don't think they were ever gonna really do something like that. But I can understand certain expectations that weren't met with that series, but I still really quite enjoyed it myself.
Yeah. I don't think that they would have ever done R-rated, and also
no.
I mean, we already saw it in Mandalorian Season 2. He's grown as a person. He's not that kind of person where he wants to be better.
Yeah.
And this showed it. He's a kingpin now, but he's also a good person. He's he's the kind of a mayor that's not afraid to get his hands dirty.
Yeah. So yeah, and I do think, and then of course, the what the hell were they? The Vespa gang or whatever? The fucking the young kids on the colorful bikes. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, I'll give you that one. Internet, that was pretty stupid.
Moped gang.
Yeah, that was pretty what? Really? Seriously? Huh? So I'll give you that. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of touch on that. With the Mandalorian because it's so dramatically tied to that show, as it was the first true real full spinoff from it. So, but yeah, but then we also get into some of the other shows that I've felt are great, and I want to bring up next. I mean, this is the show that if you're going to talk about Star Wars, this is the show that most people talk about now. Because it's not just great, it's masterpiece.
Andor?
We're talking about Star Wars Andor. Andor was the if we're gonna say some of these shows that if you're gonna sort of put the quality of some of the Star Wars shows against the quality of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, there's a big difference. We've had a couple of duds from Star Wars, but we've also had Andor.
I mean,
Andor.
yeah, when you introduced me to Andor, the first thing you said to me is, "This ain't your daddy's Star Wars."
Exactly.
It really isn't.
No.
If you want an R-rated Star Wars, that is your R-rated Star Wars.
Yeah, as closest to it you're gonna get, and phenomenal. Every frame, every second, every moment, every minute, phenomenal. I mean, I genuinely, like, I will be at a loss for vocabulary if I keep talking about that show.
Yeah.
Because, like, at a certain point, I'm just going to be constantly repeating myself and making absolute non sequiturs here. I don't have many more words to describe it other than masterpiece and phenomenal.
Yep.
It's just I genuinely was blown away from the first 3-episode grouping that we got when it first started. I was just stunned at what this show was. I never expected in a million years that this was the kind of thing we were going to get, and it was just incredible.
Yeah. So for me, I think it sits somewhere in my top 3 most favorite shows.
Yeah.
For me,
Same.
Supernatural is number 1, but
Right.
I think it's either number 2 or 3 for me
Yeah.
in my top shows.
It's just so good. Yeah, it's quite a bit up there for me as well. Which by the way, that is something we could do on Nerd Ranks in the future as well. Is a ranking, doing a tier list or ranking of our favorite TV shows and movies. That would be super fun to do. But yeah, and actually, it'd be really fun. My list in a franchise face off against your list.
Oh yeah,
That would be cool. If you guys want to see that, that would be fun. So my favorite movies and TV shows versus his favorite movies and TV shows, and just a straight up bracket style face off. That would be super fun.
Yeah.
It would get real spicy, let me tell you.
Oh yeah. So I never really heard much about this show after it came out. You probably know more about it.
Yes.
How was Kenobi?
Kenobi is one of those ones that's mixed, because I think there's probably a few more people on the internet that probably dislike it than like it. But I would say it's like, in my opinion, it's the mixed show. Because like personally, there's a lot in that show that I really, really enjoyed, but there's some stuff that like drags it down a little bit too. And again, I will 100% agree with everyone who says this. It should have been a movie. It should have been a movie instead of a short series. And I absolutely enjoyed this series no matter what. Like at the end of the day, it's better than the sequels, right? If we're being judgmental here, it's better than the sequels. It's arguably there. I wouldn't quite. And this is probably fighting words for some people, but I wouldn't quite rate it as high as the prequels, because I think, despite the fact that the prequels have a lot of what in the the prequels stories are a lot better than people give them credit for. And something
Fair.
I've always kind of argued on this channel. If you guys watch some of our older videos and you get into some of the like Star Wars Day content, because we love to do a Star Wars Day thing every once in a while. It's something we want to do more of in the future, but we obviously didn't have the channel going this year when we were around that time. So,
Yeah.
but I have expressed in the past that I grew up loving those movies, because again, I was young and I didn't really know better. And yeah, the dialogue is shit. Let's just be honest, the dialogue's shit.
Yeah, let's face it. George Lucas could write an amazing story. He did not know how to write dialogue.
Dialogue was.
Now,
But
I also grew up on those, and I agree. Well as
especially when you start getting into Clone Wars. When you start getting into Clone Wars and you start to get more of the context, you get to watch like stuff like Tales of the Jedi. You get all of this extra context to that period of time and the story that he was actually trying to tell. It's like, oh, wait a second, this story's really fucking good. It's
Yep.
actually the story, the basic concept, all the story ideas are great.
Yeah,
They're borderline fantastic.
I would agree.
But of course, it is mired by some of the CGI of the time, and the fact that it's like really leans into it a little bit too far for the time. But also, again, like we said, dialogue's not great, and it's like again, it rightfully deserves all the memeing it gets. But the prequels are better than you think.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I would say like it's up there. Like Obi-Wan's not complete shit, but I do understand anyone who is kind of like like a lot of it feels like it gets shoved with too much filler. And I understand some people didn't really care for the villain of that story in particular, which is one of the Night Sisters. Night Sisters? That's not right. One of the sisters of the Inquisitor in the Inquisitorius. Why did I say Night Sisters? Ignore me. It's late. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now, you said that it's above the prequel trilogy. To be fair, that
not like I would say like story wise the prequels are better, but
honestly, the prequels don't really set that high of a bar.
fair enough. But yeah. So like again, like I said, it's kind of it's mixed. It's one of the mixed projects. So I get, and a lot of people will probably count it there with Book of Boba Fett, which I don't think is quite fair.
Now, moving on to what I think is probably the next and might be the last of the good shows, that at least from what I know of, Ahsoka.
There's another one, but I'll bring that up in a moment. Ahsoka, season 1. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you say. You will not change my opinion. Ahsoka season 1 is an absolute phenomenal season of television. It is a continuation of Rebels. It is a continuation of... And actually, we kind of do have to talk about Clone Wars, because technically Clone Wars... We'll get to it in a second. The 7th season was Disney Plus, so we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, actually, we'll save the animated stuff here for just a moment. But talking about the live action stuff, Ahsoka, I absolutely adore that first season. I absolutely love what they did with it. And there may be some flaws, but like for me, they're so small that like I just couldn't give a shit less. Like the highs so dramatically outweigh the lows for that show. And season 2 looks even crazier, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, so from everything that you've talked to me about it with,
Yes.
which obviously you have tried to do your best to
Spoiler
avoid
free.
spoiling it for me, it sounds like an amazing show.
Yeah, it's like genuinely like I love what they did with that show, and yeah, and I'm much more excited for season 2. Like season 1 was awesome, but season 2, like even just from the first trailer, which by the way, please go check out our my trailer reaction for season 2. It is on the channel right now. Yeah, it like yeah, I'm here for it, and I think a lot of fans will err much more towards the like Ahsoka's up there. For a lot of people that I've seen on the internet anyway. I know there's some people that are pushed back against it, and I've heard it, but that's like the typical. I think the typical amount of loud negativity that just happens on the internet sometimes. So
yeah,
but I genuinely absolutely love it.
Yeah, negativity sells, unfortunately. So
Yes.
that's what a lot of content gets seen.
Yes. Which, by the way, is something that we don't like doing on the channel. We will have some like negative thoughts sometimes, or not even negative, but like, yeah, I didn't care for that, or I didn't care for this, or I didn't like that, or this. But so yes, from time to time we'll have thoughts like, yeah, I didn't really care for that, or I didn't really love that. But for the most part, we want to stay more positive and talk about things we love and like and enjoy, things that make us happy or feel good. And that's kind of the whole point of the Nerd Talk show, is to talk about and sort of express our thoughts and how we feel positively about the awesome world of movies and TV shows,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. So yeah, so you won't really get that kind of shit here on this channel. So if that's something you're looking for, sorry, you have to find it somewhere else.
Well, there are a few things out there that you might hear me talk negatively and badly about.
But he'll save that for some of his specific stuff. But but that's not really the vibe of this show and this channel. So, yeah. So again, I genuinely love Ahsoka. I think it's a fantastic show, and I think for the most part, most people will agree with me. But yeah, Ahsoka season 2 is gonna be so awesome, guys! Can't wait. All right. So all right, and then so the other one that you said you probably don't even know this exists because I don't know if I've ever actually talked to you about it, and I don't think we've ever had a conversation about it. And I think you were away when when this came out. So Skeleton Crew, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, which is essentially Goonies in space. It's this show, guys. Not enough people watched it. A lot of people were not happy with the show that came before it, which we'll talk about in a minute. But, dude, Skeleton Crew was awesome. It was that was the genuine, oh, we're on an adventure again. This felt like such a great adventure series. We were really getting into a fun adventure series. And they did such a fantastic job. And I have heard through the grapevine, even though it didn't have the greatest viewership, that it was they're potentially making a season 2 regardless because it was so well rated, so well liked by the people who watched it. Excuse me, that I think it is going to get a second season. If it does, I really hope a lot more people jump on board for that because that was the hidden gem of the Disney Plus Star Wars shows.
Yeah, you've never mentioned it. I've never heard of it. So, yeah, I did not know about that.
Yes.
Now the show that preceded it was that The Acolyte.
Yes, but we gotta add the animation stuff in here first, because technically season 7 of Clone Wars is a Disney Plus exclusive. So season 7 of Clone Wars. Let's just talk on that really quick. That is in the good category. Category. Some of the absolute best episodes of that show are in season 7. Phenomenal. Now, again, it's something he hasn't watched. He hasn't caught up to yet. But, the whole Revenge of the Sith arc, which I'll leave it at that, is fucking phenomenal. You guys are probably tired of hearing me say that. And also, drinking game, take a shot every time I say phenomenal. Because, yeah, oh, man, that was awesome. I'll also throw in more to the good side than I think any of the bad side. I haven't watched all of them, but the Tales of animated series, so Tales of Jedi, Tales of the Underworld, and Tales of the Empire. Awesome stuff. Again, I haven't watched all of it. I've watched all of Tales of the Jedi, which I absolutely loved. It was just some fun, bite-sized stories that added some really cool context to certain characters that I really, really enjoyed watching. And I would say those are pretty great too. I also haven't watched it yet. I hate to say that. I haven't watched it yet, but Maul Shadowlord Season 1, very, very, very highly rated. So that's another one that's really up there for people. So again, and I will say this, the section that we're about to get into that's the stuff is look how small that is compared to the stuff that's been great. I just wanted to point that out. And I would say it's actually a bigger margin of good to bad than some of the Marvel stuff. And it feels like Star Wars getting shit on harder than the Marvel stuff. So the lesser well-loved or well-liked stuff begins. Yeah, I think we have to talk about The Acolyte. Now, personally, I didn't hate The Acolyte, but I understand fully why most people didn't like it. There was a lot of ideas, even some characters, and some like story, like beats and stuff from that series that I'm like, oh, this was really cool. This is a really cool idea. This is really, but as a sort of final execution, most of it falls flat, and I think it falls flat in a way that sort of really, really, really didn't resonate with some people. Some people like borderline hated that show. I didn't think it was so bad that it was like at the hate-worthy intersection, but it didn't do well. It did not do well.
Yeah, I remember this was while I was gone, but you had told me about the Acolyte. I think when it was still like only 2 or 3 episodes in.
Yeah,
And you were telling me that it was something that I might like more.
because of like the action. I think the action sequences were phenomenal. I also, again, there's ideas and stuff in there that was really cool, especially when it first starts. I think it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. There's like this whole mystery. They're playing this whole like epic thing out, and then by the time you get to the end of it, you're like, really? Like, I kind of called that. Why did it take so long to get to that?
Gotcha.
I kind of figured that out. Why did it take so long to get to that? Why is that's the whole that's it? That's what we're doing here. So like that's like the vibe you get when you get to the end of it, and you're like, oh, okay, really? That's it? Like, okay. And then like some of the execution of certain story beats were not great, and a lot of people will talk about that ad nauseum. Like, yeah. So I won't like repeat it or dive into that, take up anybody's time. But yeah, it is quite interesting. I do think it wasn't. I don't think it was as bad. Like, everybody kind of was like, "Oh, this is like a 2 out of 10 series." I think it was maybe like a 5 or 6. Like, it wasn't particularly my favorite at the end of everything. But there was stuff in there that I was really excited for them to like maybe focus on more. The certain apprentice of a certain Sith Lord, and the certain Sith Lord being a bigger focus again. Also, it really sucks that that's the only thing we've ever gotten in live action from the High Republic era, because now I'm worried, because it bombed, that we're not going to get any more High Republic stuff, and I think the High Republic stuff was so fucking cool.
High Republic?
Yes, it was High Republic. That's, again, a part of the stuff that I was so excited about with that series, and I loved the action was so cool, because you get to see, again, it's something we haven't seen outside of, like, the original, the first, the prequels. Outside of the prequels, we don't get to see many Jedi doing the Jedi stuff. And, like, we get to see a Jedi straight up getting marked, like, absolutely slaughtered in that show. And I thought that shit was so cool. But, like, the cool stuff, it didn't offset the underwhelming storyline, I suppose, for the main story, and the sort of just like, and like the things I wanted them to focus on, they didn't. And so, like, I understand fully that people were like were like way more judgmental on that than I was, but I get it. Like, it's pretty low, but yeah. So there's that, and then we've kind of already talked about Book of Boba Fett, and I actually don't even. What else was there that we could even talk about that is in the sort of negative area? Like,
I don't know, because the other two things would have been the Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi.
Yeah,
and we kind of already covered those.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I think outside. So like that's it, guys. Like, so I think the goods outweigh the bads, but for a lot of people, again, sort of the same way they did with Marvel, they sort of just like, ugh, Star Wars. Like, and it sucks that we're kind of at that point. But the other big issue is that, like, unlike Marvel, or like very much unlike Marvel, we haven't been getting a lot. The amount of things we just went through is like minuscule. Like, it's a very small amount of things, and that has a big to do with the fact that there was a huge lack of movies.
Yeah.
Up until this year, 2026, from 2019 to 2026, there were no Star Wars films. We were all Disney Plus shows.
That is crazy to me.
It's absolutely nuts. Like, absolutely, like, I don't know what in the F was going on at Lucasfilm. There clearly needed to be a change in leadership, and we've got it, but we'll talk about that in a second. Guys, why? Just like, why did no movie? They announced so many movies. They announced so many people attached, like filmmakers attached to so many movies, and yet nothing. It took them taking one of the TV shows and turning it into a movie for them to get a movie out. And then now we're finally getting Starfighter next year, which I am genuinely excited about. But there's no reason that we shouldn't. And like, again, it also feels like there's a lot of space and time in between each release of each project, like almost too much. So like Star Wars is like, okay, so something mediocre comes around, everybody's focused on the one mediocre thing for forever because something good didn't come back around to wash out that bad taste. And like the amount of times that we've it's like that's a big part of this, is the fact that when we got the bad stuff or the stuff people didn't like, we sat on it for a long time. Like a long time. And then a lot of people, again, didn't watch something like Skeleton Crew. So if you didn't watch Skeleton Crew and the last thing you saw was Acolyte, I mean...
that was probably, an extra year gap between the next thing?
Yeah, like, so you had like a year or a year and a half between Acolyte and Andor Season 2. Like, no. Like, no, that's bad. What are we doing? So that was like that is like my theory on why people are so like on Star Wars right now, because you had to sit with the crappy stuff for so long, and then again all the behind the scenes shit just did not help. It just did not help. So we are finally at a point where we can say Dave Filoni, the man who created Clone Wars, the guy who literally studied under George Lucas, helped create the Clone Wars and created Rebels and The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, all of that stuff. That's the guy who is now taking over.
I mean, he's the guy that literally created in the Clone Wars one of the most popular characters, Ahsoka. Ahsoka did not exist in any other form of Star Wars content before Episode 1 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Yep. So, well, the movie. It was actually the movie.
Was it the movie?
Yeah. She actually wasn't in the first episode. Well, okay. It was the movie. It was the movie.
It's been a minute for me.
Yeah. So technically, which again, the Clone Wars movie came out before Clone Wars, so it doesn't matter. But the point is again, and like again, she's like a top tier character. We won't get into that, but so Dave knows what he's doing, and I think a lot of people will say, well, some of the Dave directed stuff has not been the best stuff in Star Wars and blah blah blah. So yes, sure, maybe he has directed some of the stuff he's directed and you might not like, but then again, some of the absolute best Star Wars stuff he has been a part of creating. Like, genuinely. So, like, for me, I 100%, and we'll see if this holds up. Maybe I'll wind up choking back on my words later on. But I hold that he was the right person to put in charge, because I think creatively he's going to push the Star Wars to where it needs to be. And we're kind of already starting to see that. We're getting Ahsoka Season 2 next year. We're getting Starfighter, which is the first, like, new, fully brand new characters, new story, new everything for the first time in a long goddamn time for Star Wars. So, like, I'm genuinely very excited for those things. But
yeah, and even so, people like that, they can have their ups and down points.
Yeah.
Like, they aren't infallible.
Exactly.
I mean, that do you think that George Lucas, we know he had his
Exactly.
bad points.
Exactly. I mean, the
But
same
everyone
guy
still
who
loves
created,
him.
the same guy who created A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi that everybody praises and loves. He also created the fucking prequels that a lot of people did not like. So nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
But I do genuinely think that Dave is the right person because he does understand Star Wars in ways that other people just don't. Like
yeah.
genuinely. So, and I think he knows what the series needs a bigger injection of going forward, and I think we're going to get that in spades with him. So.
Yep.
So yeah, so let's just kind of talk about really quickly a little bit of the upcoming Star Wars stuff, which we kind of already touched on. Ahsoka Season 2 next year.
And Starfighter.
Starfighter, and then we don't really know what's coming past that. But I am very curious to see. And speaking of, here, let's talk about some. We've talked about this a little bit in our recent live stream, which you can go check out. By the way, we have the VOD up on the channel. We both really want to see more Old Republic stuff,
Yes.
actual live action Old Republic stuff. I think it's well beyond time for that. I really enjoy where we're kind of sort of in between the originals and the sequels right now. That storyline we're playing with Ahsoka and Mandalorian and all that, that's been a lot of fun. But I would really like to get out of that time period and the time period between the prequels and the originals. I'd like to get out of those two time periods and get into different time periods, which
Yes.
Starfighter is a start because it's past. It's forward from the sequels. So we're in an entirely new unwritten space of Star Wars. Like we're in a whole new era. So I'm excited to see that, but again, Old Republic, man. Like come on, seeing Darth Revan. Oh, come on.
Darth Revan, Darth Bane, Darth Malgus.
Oh, please, we need it. We need it.
I mean,
The institution of the rule of two. Oh, come on. Let's do it. Let's make a movie out of that.
outside of Darth Revan,
Sith Wars.
Bane, and Malgus, the next biggest Sith that everyone that knows about the Old Republic, that knows this person, Darth Vitiate.
Oh.
I mean, the dude was literally so powerful that he, at the same exact moments in time, was controlling his own original Sith body and a clone that was within the Jedi Order.
Yeah. Also, I will pipe in and say this, because I mentioned it earlier in this video. Please, don't forsake the High Republic era just because of the Acolyte. There's some other cool stories we could go and tell in that era. I want to see more of the what the hell are those characters called? The Nihilists. I can't remember the space marauders that the Jedi's had to fight during that period of time. I would love to see some of that stuff come in live action. That'd be so cool. Just there's so many fun stories to explore with those characters, and there's a ton of the far behind the era of the prequels that we can explore because we barely scratched the surface with that stuff in live action. So that would be just so cool. But yeah, that's kind of the most. Is there anything else in particular that you're like, hey, do this other than Old Republic?
Not that I can really think of, other than maybe just some more of the tales of just some more characters.
Get some more character focus. I'd love to see
I'd like to see one episode about Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Maybe a few others. Did they do one for Yoda?
Yoda, no, I don't think so.
I think one on Yoda, maybe his earlier days before he became Grandmaster.
High Republic. Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys are jumping in the comment section to talk about your favorite Star Wars stuff. What stuff do you agree with us about, or what stuff do you disagree with? What do you kind of like from Star Wars that maybe some other people don't? What's your Star Wars hot take? Get down in that comment section and let us know. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, and
hit that noti bell.
And we will be back with next weekend with another episode of the Nerd Talk Show.